A soldier for Christ. I'm a soldier. No, they'll never take us under, because we're bringing truth like thunder, raining on your speakers like a ton of bricks. Hold the cross high, because we're Catholic.
Father Frank Pavone, we have you here to talk about a letter that you wrote to the bishops, and I think a very respectful letter, asking the U.S. bishops to allow clergy to publicly discredit baby-killing Democratic Party. That's pretty strong, but tell us a little bit more why you wrote it and what's in it.
Yes, well, thank you, Terry, for this opportunity. And Dr. Ed, it's good to be with you, too. Thank you for what you do. As many of our listeners have been,
yes,
I, for many decades, have been trying to respond to what the scriptures, the tradition of the church, and the explicit teachings of our popes and our bishops say about politics. We have to change the world for Christ.
Amen.
We have to make a difference. The church is very much oriented to changing the social order. And there's a whole body of teaching about the church's proper role in politics. Look, for example, at the documents of the Second Vatican Council. Mm-hmm. Look at the Catechism itself. Look at the compendium of the social doctrine of the church, a whole book, which is essentially a Vatican document talking to us how we're supposed to make a difference in the world. So here, I'm just tracing the background of this. You look at all of this and you say, in prayer and with grace and invigorated by the sacraments, you say, hey, the Spirit is stirring me into flame here. It's like, we're not our hearts burning within us. I want to do something. And so we speak up, and we know, as the bishops themselves have said in, for example, their document, Living the Gospel of Life, hey, listen, the right to life is the foundation of the house of human rights issues and of electoral issues. Anything that attacks the right to life directly, like abortion, is a preeminent issue. And the bishops reaffirmed that just last November in their meeting. Now, all right, so that's point number one. We've got this beautiful body of teaching, and it's an exhortation to go make a difference. Okay, then when we go and we start trying to make a difference, practically what a lot of people listening to us now and what I myself have run into are all these cautionary roadblocks on the level of the parish and of the diocese, of pastors and bishops saying, oh, but no. You can't say this, and you can't do that, and we can't be too political, and we can't criticize any candidates, and we can't criticize any parties, and we can't hand out these voter guides, and we can't do this, and we can't do that. And it's like you're left with, okay, are we pushing our feet on the gas or on the brakes, or both at the same time? What's going on here? Now, we understand, and I affirm in the letter, look, the church does not have a political mission per se.
Right.
In other words, it is in the civil realm that political parties are created, and there's nothing intrinsically wrong with political parties, but that's in the civil arena. The church is not meant to, create a political party. And it's not even that we're called to endorse candidates or take up collections for their campaigns in the parishes. I have always taught this distinction between the legitimate role of the church on the one hand and the role of the political arena on the other. However, we're not even talking about that. We're talking here about a situation where there is a fundamental attack being made by one of our major political parties, not on matters of prudential judgment or simply matters of policy, but on underlying foundational matters of principle that are not only at the foundations of the gospel, but of civilization itself, such as you don't kill babies. Okay, now, if I as a human being, if I as a priest, if I as a Christian cannot stand up in the face of political powers and authorities and say to them very clearly, you don't kill babies, and then say to the voters, and you can't cooperate in the killing of babies by putting these people into power, Terry, that's a moral statement. That's not a political statement. That's a moral statement. It has political implications, obviously. But who it's going to help and who it's going to hurt in the political arena doesn't depend on me, because I'm not preaching from the platform of a political party. I'm preaching from the platform of the gospel of Jesus Christ and his moral law. And what I say, how it's going to help or hurt people in the realm of politics, that depends on one thing and one thing only: what position they take. They take on these fundamental moral issues. I don't tell them what position to take. They're taking the positions they've chosen to take. But as it turns out, we've got more of a divide on those positions than ever before. The Republican Party has been more pro-life than ever before. The Democrat Party is rabidly adhering without exception to unlimited abortion, and they want you and me to help to pay for it. So on a fundamental matter like this, if we're told as clergy, if we're told as a church, well, we can't use the church we can't criticize any political party or candidate. That's what we're being told. In official memos, we cannot criticize a political party or candidate. I'm sorry, but you cannot articulate the teachings of the church in the current political climate without that being the result. The actual de facto result is that you are criticizing and discrediting a party, namely the Democrat Party. Again, not because our platform has changed, it hasn't, but because theirs has. So, I've been having this discussion with the bishops, Terry, ever since you and I met each other. 27 years I've been having this discussion with the bishops behind the scenes and respectfully trying to hammer this out and saying, hey, listen, we can't fight with one or two arms tied behind our back. We have got to stand up, like Cardinal Clemens von Galen, who was beatified by the church, and a cardinal who spoke out against the Nazi regime for the very same reason, their disrespect for human life. And it's like, hey, where's the voice? We have to be free to be the voice of the church in this situation.
All I can say is a big amen, and my phone right now is burning up and saying, I'm so glad to hear a priest preach like this and talk like this. My teenage son's listening and saying, yeah, why don't the bishop speak like that? So a young man said that. I say, well, young man, maybe God's calling you to be a priest in the future years, that you could speak the truth like that. Father Frank, I just want to let Dr. Ed make a comment, but I also want to say this, that the president of the U.S. Bishops Conference issued a statement the 15th of June, just 2 weeks ago, regarding the Supreme Court decision to the legal definition of sex in the civil rights law. And Archbishop Gomez said this very clearly: our lives require that we receive our body and our sexual identity with gratitude from our Creator. No one can find true happiness by pursuing a path that is contrary to God's plan. Well, nobody can get to heaven, okay, when you have a path of killing unborn babies. So out of charity, Father Frank, people of pro-life side, really it's charitable to call them to say this is killing unborn babies is murder. Okay, simple as that. And if you continue to do that, that you're going to go to hell if objectively you know this is the case and you do it with free consent of your will. So out of charity, I'm telling especially my brother Catholics who are going to vote for a candidate who's for killing unborn babies, that you're endangering the salvation of your soul for all eternity. And I can say that because I'm not a priest, okay? I'm a layman, and I've said that for decades. Please, out of charity, I'm going to call you to do that. Dr. Ed, jump in with what Father Frank just said. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me give you a quote from Pope Pius XI that has probably not been quoted the last 50 years, and that's part of the problem. He said, those who hold the reins of government should not forget that it is the duty of public authority, by appropriate laws and sanctions, to defend the lives of the innocent. And all this the more so, since those lives are endangered and assailed cannot defend themselves, among whom we must mention in the first place are infants hidden in the mother's womb.
Wow.
And if the public magistrates not only do not defend them, but by their laws and ordinances betray them to death at the hands of doctors and of others, let them remember that God is the judge and avenger of innocent blood, which cries from earth to heaven.
Wow. Yeah, we need to hear that.
I really think Pope Pius XI